path to the horrific tragedy that occurred on January 20, 1990 dates back to late 1987. During that period, the fabrication of the so-called Karabakh problem was reignited, aimed at violating Azerbaijan's territorial integrity, occupying our lands and expelling hundreds of thousands of Azerbaijanis from their ancestral homes in Armenia and Karabakh. During those years, a deliberate policy was implemented to detach the Karabakh from Azerbaijan. First, Armenians asserted claims over the territory. Subsequently, on June 15, 1988, the Supreme Soviet of the Armenian SSR passed a resolution to annex Karabakh to Armenia. In parallel, another wave of mass deportations of Azerbaijanis from their historical ethnic lands territory within present-day Armenia was carried out. As a result of the deportations between 1988 and 1989, 250,000 Azerbaijanis became refugees. Historians note that despite being part of the same Union state, Moscow did not merely turn a blind eye to these Armenian provocations but actively supported them. On December 1, 1989, the adoption of the decision on the unification of the Armenian SSR and the Karabakh was the final straw for the Azerbaijani people. Rallies broke out in Baku's central square and a wave of protests swept across the entire country. The people of Azerbaijan began a struggle for their freedom, independence, and territorial integrity. Instead of preventing the escalation of tension, the Soviet leadership prepared a heinous crime against the Azerbaijani people. On the night of January 1920, 1990, by direct order of Mikhail Gorbachev, General Secretary of the Communist Party of the Soviet Union, troops from the USSR Ministry of Defense, the KGB, and the Ministry of Internal Affairs were deployed into Baku and several other regions of Azerbaijan. Peaceful civilians were subjected to mass slaughter, fired upon with heavy machinery and various types of weaponry. The events of January 20 were characterized by exceptional cruelty and unprecedented atrocities. Soviet forces killed 147 civilians and wounded 744 innocent people, many of whom were left permanently disabled, while 841 people were illegally detained. National leader Heydar Aliyev played a pivotal role in bringing the truth of Black January to the world's attention. Despite the bans of the Soviet regime and at great personal risk, this great son of our people went to the permanent mission of Azerbaijan in Moscow on January 21, the day after the tragedy, with his family. There he issued a bold statement sharply condemning the USSR authorities for the massacre in Baku and criticizing the incompetent leadership of Azerbaijan at the time. He emphasized that the slaughter of unarmed people was a violation of law, democracy, and humanism. The first political and legal assessment of the January 20 tragedy is also linked to the name of the great statesman Heydar Aliyev. In March 1994, upon the recommendation of the President of the Republic of Azerbaijan, a special session of the National Assembly adopted a resolution. This resolution identified as the specific culprits of the January 20 tragedy and officially assessed the bloody action as military aggression and a crime committed by the totalitarian communist regime to suppress the national liberation movement and break the will of the people. On that terrible day, we lost martyrs, but our will remained unbroken and our national spirit unshaken. On the contrary, we demonstrated to the world that our people were prepared to take the streets and even sacrifice their lives to protect their rights and secure their freedom. The crowds that filled the streets showed that their determination was stronger than the tanks of a great empire. Thus, the difficult and honorable path that began in 1990 reached the summit with the Karabakh victory in 2020. Today, the souls of all our martyrs who gave their lives for the independence and territorial integrity of our country can finally rest in peace.